The WWE seemingly has a plan for the Survivor Series, but it has nothing to do with what's on TV right now. They are actually building the entire Survivor Series around the 30-year anniversary of The Undertaker. WWE is also being investigated for being a COVID-19 hotspot in the state of Florida, and we have a pay-per-view this Sunday, but you wouldn't know that because WWE has no card outside of what's going to be inside Hell in a Cell. We're going to talk about it right here on Off The Script Extra. Have you ever dreamed of fitting an amazing, truly AAA quality game right in your pocket? Something you can dive into and play at any time. Now you can with Raid Shadow Legends. With over 450 champions to collect, each with their own skill trees and millions of artifacts to find and equip, no two champions will ever be the same. That makes for literally trillions of ways to build your teams, crazy depth, and endless strategies to figure out. So what's new for Raid in October 2020? Well, Raid just released the Artifact Forge, where you can save time and craft artifacts directly, as well as a whole new advanced quest system with amazing rewards. And that's not all. They also brought out some amazing new champions, and they're developing the amazing looking Doom Tower as we speak, which I am personally super excited for. Go to the links in my description box, and if you're a new player, you can get 100,000 silver and a free awesome champion, Hexweaver. Look at this cool champion that you guys are gonna get for free. You guys will find your extra rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. Raid Shadow Legends, JD highly recommends it. Available now on iPhone, Android, and PC. And I want to thank them for supporting the podcast right here on Off The Scripts.
Delete! This is mine.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off The Script. I got a little bit of extra for you, and I'm going to bring you the latest in WWE news and rumors. The Undertaker! He will be at the Survivor Series according to WrestleVotes. The Undertaker will be celebrating his 30-year anniversary, and the Undead seemingly is not retired just yet. The Undertaker is slated to make another appearance on WWE programming, this time at the Survivor Series on November 22nd in Orlando, Florida, at the WWE Thunderdome. You like that little sound effect, huh? Yeah, I know, I'm getting a little bit better. According to WrestleVotes, this will be the Taker's next appearance on pay-per-view. They say this on Twitter, and I quote, "The upcoming 11/22 Survivor Series pay-per-view will be built around the 30-year anniversary of The Undertaker, including him making a live appearance on the show. A source states, as of now, The Undertaker will not be wrestling at the event," end quote. Just let him get in the presence of Vince McMahon, and I'm sure good old Vinnie Mac, Vince No Plan McMahon, will give The Undertaker something last minute because he's desperate for attention. Now, if you guys are a subscriber to the WWE Network, there is something that will happen all the way up until the Survivor Series called the 30 Days of the Dead Man on the WWE Network. that has been released with his docuseries looking at his career and feuds over the course of the next month, leading to his 30-year anniversary at the Survivor Series. Now, if you guys missed WrestleMania, which I'm sure many of you did, but I'm sure you caught the Boneyard match between AJ Styles and The Undertaker. He defeated AJ Styles in what was the best thing on the entire show, night one of WrestleMania 36. This was his most recent and possibly last match in World Wrestling Entertainment. The final chapter of The Undertaker Last Ride had an ending of him saying that at this point in his life, he has no desire to step back into the ring, but if Vince McMahon ever needed him to come back, he would. Why would Vince McMahon not want to use The Undertaker? So, Mark Calloway pretty much left it open for interpretation. The docuseries left off with you thinking this guy's retired. They left off thinking that this guy doesn't need to come back anymore, especially after what everybody called one of the best matches that WWE has put on in recent memory. The production of that Boneyard match was fantastic, and that could be served as the last ride of The Undertaker. But I know, and you know, that The Undertaker is not done. The Undertaker may have loved the Boneyard match with the symbolism of him riding away on his motorcycle to Metallica, leaving the Boneyard, the graveyard. But you know, both him and AJ Styles want one more go at this. You know Mark Calloway would want to retire like somebody would retire normally in front of a WrestleMania crowd with 90,000 people. Now, we had that once before. WWE fucked that up when he wrestled Roman Reigns, and we all thought he was going away then. That could have been served as his retirement, but WWE ruined what everybody thought was one of the most special moments in the history of the company. And then he came back and we got this, and even this is not going to be his last ride per se. Now, I'm not the only one who thinks The Undertaker is going to come back. Ric Flair actually thinks that The Undertaker will come back as well. He was recently interviewed by Inside the Ropes, and he believes that Taker will work one more match. He says, and I quote, "I thought the last ride was fabulous. There's not a finer man that has ever been in our business, and I'm looking at that from every possible aspect. But I think he will be back. I think he wants it, and I think the fans deserve to see him go out in front of 80 or 90,000 people live. I think he needs to wrestle again once we get this COVID under control, and I would think it would be at Mania." Flair thinks that it could be at WrestleMania 37 next year in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. He says this, and I quote, "I thought the match was great with AJ, but I could see him and AJ going at it again inside the ring. And I'm sure AJ would jump off the top of a building to get back in the ring with The Undertaker," end quote. I would actually agree with Ric Flair in that last statement. I do think, and AJ has said it himself, that he would definitely want to do it all over again with The Undertaker. AJ has been there throughout this entire thing, speaking so highly about wanting to work with The Undertaker and wanting a match with The Undertaker in the later portions of his career at WrestleMania, that it would be a dream come true for not only him, but his entire career. It would be a body of work that would be completed for AJ Styles. So I know that to be 100% legit and fact, that AJ would jump off the top of a building to get back in the ring with The Undertaker at a WrestleMania under normal circumstances, because they didn't get that this year with COVID-19. Now, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to book The Undertaker at WrestleMania per se. Now, I'm going to talk about more of this on Saturday's episode of Off The Script, episode 348. But I am content, personally. I am content on not seeing The Undertaker ever again in a ring. I'm done with that. I think we've all moved on from that. I think the last ride, docuseries, and WrestleMania was it. I don't know how much more you could possibly do to go back on your word. Just stay with the decision that you made. You don't need to do anything else. Anything else for me in my honest opinion, is going to tarnish the legacy of The Undertaker. You don't want to be that guy that just doesn't want to retire because you just can't walk away for obvious reasons. The spotlight, the money, etc., etc. Now, it's great that The Undertaker is being billed at the Survivor Series. Now, knowing Vince McMahon, who the fuck knows what Vince McMahon has up his sleeve? For all we know, he can put him in the ring with Bray Wyatt at Survivor Series. Everybody thought that was going to be the case the last couple of Survivor Series. I do not want to see The Undertaker in the ring. It is great that The Undertaker is being billed around the Survivor Series, and that WWE is going to build the Survivor Series around Mark Calaway and The Undertaker 30 years. That is a very special moment that needs to be celebrated. It's great. It gives Survivor Series meaning. It gives importance to the Survivor Series. This was the first event that we've seen The Undertaker debut in World Wrestling Entertainment, World Wrestling Federation. But it also goes to show you that WWE doesn't have any other plans for the Survivor Series, that they are creatively bankrupt, that they're building the entire event around The Undertaker. How important is everything else going to be in comparison to The Undertaker? There is nothing. There is nothing about the Survivor Series this year that is important at all. That's why they're doing this with The Undertaker, and they're making him the star of the show, even though he's not wrestling on the show. There's nothing on TV that gives you a sense of, hey, the Survivor Series is important. There's been no feud between Raw and SmackDown. We all know the Survivor Series has been billed as the one time a year WWE has Raw and SmackDown go head-to-head. That's not the case. We've seen Raw and SmackDown head-to-head all year in a way where it's absolutely diminished the Survivor Series. WWE went back on their word with the draft, making the draft feel unimportant when we seen the Riot Squad show up on Monday night when they got drafted to Friday Night SmackDown. And Otis coming out as fucking El Gordo Fato, or whatever the fuck he came out as. El Grande Fato, or whatever it was. I don't know. Came out in a lucha mask. It's Otis. Otis is on SmackDown. We're not dumb. WWE hasn't given any of this importance. The draft, the brands, the split, the feuds, the rivalries between Raw and SmackDown. It's not been a thing all year. So WWE's probably best to do the Undertaker thing, but yes, we all love the Undertaker. Yes, we all want to see him celebrated 30 years in the sport that we all love, but it also goes to show you, and I got to bring all variables to the table, that there really is nothing important on WWE television, and they're going back into the past to sell the future. It's just a vicious cycle of things, folks. It really is. It really is. So The Undertaker's going to be at the Survivor Series. According to WrestleVotes, he's not going to wrestle. We'll wait and see on that. Who knows what Vince has up his sleeve? But The Undertaker, Survivor Series 30-year anniversary, they're going to build the entire show around celebrating 30 years of The Undertaker in World Wrestling Entertainment. Let me know what you guys think about that. And here's a question for all of you. If he was supposed to come back at the Survivor Series and wrestle, who do you want to see him wrestle in his last match in World Wrestling Entertainment? Now, if you guys watched Monday Night Raw, oh man, somebody watched Monday Night Raw, man. Who am I kidding? Nobody watched Monday Night Raw. Looking at the ratings, all I see is new historic lows on Monday night and no interest on Monday Night Raw. Now, if WWE hired me, Bruce, now if you hired me, where I didn't have to come on here and shit all over your creative decisions and make logic out of fucking nothing, or try to, things would be done correctly, Bruce. Monday Night Raw, seen the demise, the death, R.I.P., never to return again, of Retribution, dead, buried. Please, let's hold our heads down and pray, and give our thoughts and prayers, and send our condolences to Teabag, and Mace, and Slap Dick, Slap Nuts, and Mustafa Ali, Reckoning, and Retaliation, who, by the way, got out of harm's way here and saved her career, Mercedes Martinez. She may be the luckiest woman in all of World Wrestling Entertainment at this juncture. No question. But if you guys watch Monday Night Raw, all joking aside, Retribution was killed off by not only the Hurt Business, they were put in a 4-on-4 tag team match 1 month before the Survivor Series, and T-Bag tapped out to the Hurt Lock by Bobby Lashley, and then The Fiend absolutely destroyed every single one of them after the match was over, leaving them dead and buried. So T-Bag shows up on social media and he says this, and I quote,
"It really cannot be overstated just how unbelievably free this rent is in all of your minds." Now, I don't know what this guy is talking about. I don't know whose heads he's talking about, heads that he's living rent-free in. Wait a minute.
Is that better? There you go. God forbid I'm in Retribution. Well, maybe. If I'm in Retribution, things would be a lot better. I would know how to book them correctly. But I don't know who he's talking about. The guy's career is finished. Imagine being a top prospect in NXT, getting called up to the main roster, and then being straddled with this gimmick, having 2 matches on the main roster, both losses, one by disqualification. You thought I forgot about that one, right? Vince McMahon's secret rule. I didn't forget about that one, and then you lost. So you had 2 matches with the Hurt Business. I don't know who the fuck is heel, who the fuck is babyface. 2 matches before the Survivor Series. This should have been built up as a Survivor Series match. I don't even get the feeling that Retribution even gives a shit about overthrowing WWE management anymore. Do you get the feeling that they are going about chaos in the WWE? Do you have a feeling now that you see Retribution on TV that they want to take down the establishment? I don't get that feeling. And if I don't get that feeling, what the fuck is the purpose of these guys even being on television? Mustafa Ali cut a great promo on Monday night, but he did not give an explanation as to why he joined Retribution. So please spare me the bullshit. I get it. Dijakovic is trying to play this off and he's trying to make something. He's trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit per se, but it ain't working. The fact that Creative booked you to lose the way that they did on Monday night and then get fed to the Fiend, bro, your relevancy on Monday night is at all-time lows. Your relevancy on Monday night is where the ratings are on Monday night, in the fucking toilet. So please, good luck. Spare me the bullshit. Good luck on trying to get this one over, and good luck trying to get Retribution as a relevant act over on Monday Night Raw. It ain't happening at all. How many of you guys out there are fans of Terry Funk, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Hall of Famer, Chainsaw Charlie, and ECW legend Terry Funk? If the answer is yes, you may want to follow him on social media. He's now on Twitter, but he's got a message for his legions of fans on Twitter. He's actually upset about something. Don't let me tell you and explain what it is. I'll leave it to Terry Funk.
Look, I am Terry Funk, and I am on Twitter, and I am I, and you are you. I don't want any impersonators.
First of all, it's good to see Terry Funk in such good spirits. I know, and I'm pretty sure he's still going through health issues, and it's good to see him looking so good on social media. Number two, I don't know who was recording that session, but they ended it, it looks like to me, they ended it just a wee bit early, a tad bit early there. Looks like he wanted to continue talking to his fans on social media about the imposters on social media, the troll accounts trying to impersonate him on social media. So go and follow Terry Funk, man, the Dirty Funker on Twitter. And I will say this, man, I love Terry Funk. Terry Funk is a living legend. The guy is just unbelievable with what he's done in his career, the risks that he's taken. An absolute legend, man. I will never forget. One of the things that I will always remember in my childhood watching Terry Funk. ECW One Night Stand 2006. He teamed with Tommy Dreamer, and Beulah was in their corner. Lita was in the corner of Edge and Mick Foley. This is when Mick Foley and Edge teamed up, and Mick Foley had turned heel. I'll never forget razor wire or barbed wire to Terry Funk's eye, and they took him out of the match. It was a violent bloodbath. And they took him to the back. This guy was out of the match. Nobody thought he was going to come back. He comes back into the match with his eye bandaged, bleeding through the eye with a fucking flaming 2x4 with barbed wire wrapped around it. It was unbelievable, man. Hammerstein Ballroom, if you were in that, I'm getting chills just talking about it. If you were in the Hammerstein Ballroom for that, man, consider yourself lucky. If there's one show I wish I could have been at to feel the energy, man, it was that show. I'll never forget that. I love that entire show. One of the best WWE productions of all time is that ECW One Night Stand. And that's just one of many, man. You guys have probably memories of your own about Terry Funk, but that is the one thing from me, because I was not living at the time. Obviously, I was not alive at the time when Terry Funk did his thing early on, man. I was just, fucking a youngster. I didn't know who Terry Funk was. I didn't know what Terry Funk did, but that is what I remember most about Terry Funk, man. Unbelievable stuff from that ECW One Night. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I swear to God, you have to know what happened at that show. If you've never watched that show, if you guys want pay-per-view recommendations from me, that ECW One Night Stand 2006 pay-per-view, one of the best things that you will ever see produced by World Wrestling Entertainment. Good to see Terry Funk on Twitter, and good to see him in good health. WWE may be in some serious trouble. Now, WWE venues are being investigated for possibly being COVID-19 hotspots. Orlando's Channel 9 News is reporting that local authorities have asked Orlando's COVID-19 strike team to investigate several businesses that could be considered super spreader areas of COVID-19. Among the venues being investigated are the Amway Center, aka the Thunderdome! You like that, huh? Yeah, I know. And Full Sail University, which has been the home of NXT tapings up until earlier this month when they moved the shows to the Performance Center, which they are now renaming the Capitol Wrestling Center. Now, in response to the story, WWE has issued the following statement, and I quote, WWE is not open to the public, but rather operating on a closed set with only essential personnel in attendance. Well, why don't you tell that to the management team over at NXT, which I'm assuming was given approval by Vince McMahon to have friends and family at the Capitol Wrestling Center for NXT, which is now live every single week. As part of the ongoing weekly testing protocols, Aventis Labs have administered more than 10,000 PCR tests to WWE performers, employees, production staff, and crew, resulting in only 1.5% positive cases as compared to the current national average of more than 5%. Additionally, extensive contact tracing takes place and impacted individuals are placed in 14-day quarantine and then only cleared after they test negative, end quote. So, WWE venues in Orlando are being investigated. They are not the only ones. I'm not going to blame them here and specifically them to be a super spreader of COVID-19. Jesus School, Amazon Distribution Center in Orlando, obviously, like I mentioned, Full Sail and the Amway Center, WWE's Thunderdome, Plaza on University Apartments, Crunch Fitness. That is two different Crunch Fitnesses, one on Colonial Drive and one on Hoffner, and Starbound Performers. All these places and venues and businesses are being investigated by COVID-19 strike teams in the Orlando area. Now, I don't really know what to say. I don't think WWE is going to be in trouble by this whatsoever. Obviously, it is newsworthy information. It made the headline news in Orlando on Channel 9. And I'm sure it's going to be picked up throughout various outlets in the United States. But WWE got away lucky. They were not prepared for this. Nobody was prepared for this. But they went about it very laxed. They went about it without masks. They went about it without testing. They went about it just by doing a temperature check on everybody. And then things happened. Then their roster started going down one by one. WrestleMania, people pulled out of WrestleMania. People started pulling out of events. People did not come back as until recently. They didn't come back. Sami Zayn was out for 4 months. Guys like Sami Zayn were out for 4 months. WWE invited fans, friends and family. That went into the shithole. That was a terrible idea. People got sick. They weren't contact tracing. They weren't doing anything as far as protocols. Now, I would say, I would go out on a limb and say WWE has done everything possible, because now they're looking towards the future. Now they're looking at possibly touring. Now they're looking at possibly holding WrestleMania in front of fans. Now they're looking at possible other venues when their deal with the Amway Center is expired. I think WWE has done an admirable job doing what they need to do after everything got fucked up because of their laziness and their nonchalant attitude towards everything. Tony Khan has not been this lazy, which goes to show you why AEW has been praised about the way that they've handled everything in this COVID-19 situation. Yes, people have gotten sick, but people are going to get sick. People are going to get sick. It may be one here, one there, one there. And with all that news about, Jericho doing the Sturgis rally and Fozzy having a concert and this and that, how many people got sick after that? You know, everybody wants to blame Jericho for going to a super spreader event. How many people got sick in AEW coming back from the Sturgis rally by Chris Jericho? Not many. Nobody. I haven't heard anybody get sick because of that specific reason. So AEW's done a very, very good job, a great job at handling all this. WWE was lazy. Now they're doing the right thing, and they're looking forward to the future, and you know that they're not going to fuck this up because they want WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium in front of fans. They don't want the same thing to happen again. But we wouldn't be in this situation, and WWE wouldn't be on this list if, from day one, they did what they needed to do and did not turn the other cheek. I do not think WWE is going to be in trouble because of this. But they are going to be checked out, and they are going to be investigated. And when they are investigated and everything comes back up, everything is running as it should, everything is running as far as protocols go, and they're doing the right thing, they are in the clear, then this won't be news anymore. But it's news right now because WWE has had a history for a nice string of time, for a month with COVID-19 because of their laziness. So I don't think WWE is going to find themselves in any trouble here. It's just something that needs to be done. They're checking up on everything. They want to make sure all the things that are right now open, businesses, schools, churches, events, sporting events, etc., are running with the proper protocols so that they keep everything contained, because Florida, the entire state of Florida, is open. No masks, full capacity, sporting events, concerts, church, everything, you name it, open. They want to make sure the state, is in the clear, and WWE obviously falls into that. So I will keep you guys updated on all of that, and I don't think WWE is going to be in trouble at all from this news article. And finally, guys, I'm not sure if you are aware, but there is a pay-per-view on Sunday night called Hell in a Cell. We got Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns in an I Quit match inside Hell in a Cell for the WWE Universal title. We got Sasha Banks versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title inside Hell in a Cell. And we got Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, all inside Hell in a Cell. What else is happening? Your guess is as good as mine. WWE added Elias versus Jeff Hardy at the show. That doesn't really speak to me as being a pay-per-view match. And if you were to look at the rest of the card and probably piece together matches from both Raw and SmackDown, what would you come up with? I don't even know. Keith Lee versus Braun Strowman, maybe the way that they ended up on Monday Night Raw. Keith Lee, by the way, who was limited and buried. Keith Lee versus Braun Strowman. I could see that being a fifth match added to the show. I could see possibly a match between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Lana and Asuka. Possibly for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Who the fuck cares where they are? Fucking worthless titles. There really is no legit competitors for the Women's Tag Team titles. And Shayna Baszler attacked Asuka, and they've been putting Lana through a table 5 weeks in a row now. Could WWE pair Asuka and Lana up to go against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler? Seems like a probable idea, right? But outside that, what else is happening on the show? There's nothing for AJ Styles. There's nothing for Matt Riddle. There's nothing for Sheamus or the New Day or the tag team titles in general. Maybe the Street Profits versus Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, the way that they ended up on Friday night. You know they did that ending where WWE had a no contest pulled apart because they have no match on Sunday for the tag team titles. That's the only thing that presents itself as a possible match on Sunday night. Nothing for the Intercontinental title. Sami Zayn isn't in a feud right now. What about Bobby Lashley? What about Bobby Lashley and the United States Championship? Maybe Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet for the United States Championship? Fact of the matter is, folks, WWE has no plans and are undecided on the majority of the Hell in a Cell card. Ringside News has learned that WWE is still trying to put more matches together for Hell in a Cell on Sunday. They don't even know exactly how many matches they will hold during the event. When we asked, a tenured member of the creative team responded with their own question. And they said, and I quote, "You think that's been decided yet?" End quote. That's it. WWE has one more SmackDown to go before Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And I'm not wasting my time coming up with a possible card because who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? I will give you the reason why WWE has no card, and they should fix this going into a possible draft next year. Why not have the draft happen in a month where there's no pay-per-view? Why not have the draft happen after WrestleMania when that really is looked at as the real reset of WWE? I get why they do it now because the season premieres, they're happening in November and it's for TV and the ratings and this and that and the sweeps or whatever the fuck they do as far as the ratings go on these networks. But why not have a draft in a month where there's no pay-per-view, make it a really big deal, make it a month, now I'm not even saying a month, 3-week thing, have it be an extended thing, have people just make it feel important. Why do you have to have a draft and then a pay-per-view and then you have to book a pay-per-view with new rosters, new feuds that don't exist? How are you going to get people to care? The reason why Hell in a Cell is the way it is right now with nothing booked and the only matches that are on the show are matches that have been built up already that happened before the draft and none of these individuals went to new brands because WWE held a draft 2 weeks before the pay-per-view, and everybody else was placed on different brands with nobody to feud with. It's not really the way to go about business, Vince. Vince, no plan, McMahon. Rings true every single week. And Bruce, because he's a fucking clown. Maybe they should do things differently next year, but that's exactly the reason why Hell in a Cell is shaping up to be. Listen, man, it could really go one of two ways. It could be terrible. With the Hell in a Cell matches that they have, I can't see it being fucking terrible like Monday Night Raw is every week. But I'm looking at it from a positive standpoint. If the show starts at 7 o'clock and I'm here by 9 o'clock, 9:30, hell, I'm going to take that as a victory. But WWE creatively, man, it just goes to show you that they don't know what the fuck they are doing and things need to change. Thank you guys so very much for all your support. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. If you laughed, hit that thumbs up. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, hit the thumbs up, bro. Doesn't take that much time. It's not that strenuous on your wrist. Move the mouse over, hit that thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys missed any of the other videos on the channel, links are down below in the description. And go check out Raid Shadow Legends. Link is in the description and pinned down below in the comment section. Guys, I'll see you for Friday Night SmackDown. I'll be live right here on the post show for Off The Script, and I'll see you Saturday for a great episode 348 of Off The Script. We're going to talk WrestleMania. We're going to talk Becky Lynch. We're going to talk Ronda Rousey, and we're going to book possibly one of the best WrestleMania cards that WWE could piece together for 2021. You don't want to miss it. I'll see you guys later.